Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Luis Dorado, Vice President of Student Services here at Harvard College.
Okay, thank you for meeting with me, Dr. Dorado. As you can think back over your career, what changes have you seen in higher education in this
One
country?
of the changes that I've seen throughout my career is the amount of scrutiny that we're seeing in higher education. And this to me is a correlation between the funding resources available and the fact that we're moving more towards a performance-based type of a budgeting system in the state of California. I know that in some parts of the United States, this is something that's already in place. So with that scrutiny comes
What
outcomes.
do you feel are some of the greatest challenges facing higher education in America today?
Okay, well, based on what I just said with your first question, limited resources. So what that does for us as leaders in higher education, that puts different programs or entities in kind of a competition against each other. We have to prioritize our limited resources, so that means we can't fund everything that we know will change the trajectory of a student. So it's a huge challenge trying to prioritize those outcomes because of course every program has its merits, and so I think it's very difficult in prioritizing. Also, one of the other items is retention of students. Um, our revolving door or our students stopping out for whatever reason. So I think those are the two greatest challenges that I could see from experience.
As you think about the future, what advice would you give to those of us who are entering the student affairs field?
The first advice I would give you is to finish your master's program. Make sure
Yes.
you finish those theses and you get that out of the way. But within that, if you have an opportunity to do any type of field work, internships, or even get a paid position at an institution of higher education, or in a field that provides student services that might lead into higher education, to me that's important because then you get an opportunity to test out the environment that you'll be working on because as I mentioned, it's highly stressful and we have limited resources and we're asking staff to do many things with those resources.
As you think about how higher education is changing, what aspects of the university do you think will change the most?
And I hate to keep going back to it, is I think that what's changing the most is the performance-based budgeting, meaning now we're getting budgeted or our funding is based on our performance for the prior years. We have many initiatives in the state of California that require different metrics and benchmarks that we must meet, and that'll give us our base funding. Higher education in the state of California, in regards to its allocation, is based on that sole purpose. So that's a huge change, and I think it's going to continue in regards to being more outcome based.
Okay. Are there any aspects of higher education that are unnecessary or that you think will eventually disappear?
I think because of the limited resources and because there's so many competing initiatives, there's so competing programs that have been around for some time, and now that those programs have seen success, those programs were able to take their programs to scale, meaning being able to take it from a small program and try to apply it to a bigger population, I think will survive. Those programs that kept their programs small, I think are going to start disappearing. And to give you an example, EOPS started in 1969. That program was able to evolve and move up in scale to the point that where it is today in the state of California. And it also shows results in regards to um, what the metrics that the EOPS measures, and of course the state of California.
How do you think your institution is uniquely preparing itself to face the critical issues we will face in the future?
So because we have so many competing initiatives and we're asked to do more with those resources that are allocated, and we have to show outcomes. What we're doing is we're starting to prepare ourselves to institute guided pathways and incorporate them in our trajectory for our students. What I mean by guided pathways is that in the past we would allow a student to come meet with a counselor and allow them to take courses in a format that wasn't as strict, but because now we have to show outcomes, we're getting a little more stricter in regards to how we set up their student educational plans. And initiatives that are coming down from the chancellor's office are asking us to be able to transfer students within 2 years, which means students have to take certain courses to be on the trajectory to transfer in 2 years. So we're gearing ourselves up to do that. We're also incorporating new technology to be able to help us with that process and to be able to onboard the students at a better rate. And you know firsthand because we're currently implementing PeopleSoft in LACCD.
Okay. If you were participating on a team to completely reimagine a university of the future, what kind of things do you think you would be an advocate for?
So I think one of the biggest advocate that I would be for is reducing the cost of students' attendance, and if possible, making it free for them to attend college. I think it's important that everybody has an opportunity to go to higher